Hi there and welcome to Most Buffalo. I'm Kelly Dudzik. An annual celebration of Egyptian culture returns this weekend. For the 17th year, North Tonawanda will host the Egyptian Festival, allowing Western New Yorkers the chance to immerse themselves in thousands of years of the nation's culture without having to travel across an ocean. So joining us now in studio is Thomas Gattelrab, spokesperson for St. Mary and St. Moses Church, which is where the festival will be held. Thank you for joining us today on Most Buffalo.
Thank you for having us.
Appreciate it. What can people expect this year at the festival?
Yeah, at the festival, we try to amp it up every year and try to do as much as we can. And as you said, kind of give you a little bit of Egypt right here in Buffalo without leaving, Western New York or travel agents and things like that. So we try to bring the food, we try to bring the atmosphere as well as the culture to share what our church has to provide.
And inside the church, I know there are a lot of cultural displays. Tell me what we have here. What did you bring with us?
Yes, definitely. So, one of the things that we'd love to showcase, of course, is the sanctuary, as well as in terms of our wood carvings and the actual tapestry and iconostasis, as we call it. And there's examples of that, as you'll see. What we have is traditional wood carved icons and giftable pieces in terms of both spiritual as well as more pharaonic atmospheric things. And in terms of these wood carvings, these are brought and handcrafted in Egypt.
Wow.
And then we bring them here and they're stained. So these are actually two different color stains. So you'll get different iconography in terms of St. Mary, for example, or Jesus, the Holy Family's flight to Egypt, different things like that.
And you have things on display where you can learn, but you also have stuff for sale too, right?
Yes, absolutely. So again, in terms of the things that we have for sale, that is something that people have really enjoyed, so we've tried to bring more of those wood carvings in. But of course, once you head into the wood sanctuary, we have a church tour in terms of explaining the different icons, why things are there, how we pray, etc. Because again, that's not something many people are familiar with, and that's why we want to share that.
Or exposed to, and a lot of people cannot afford to go to Egypt,
Yes.
so why not go and visit North Tonawanda where you can learn more?
Yes, exactly.
Tell me about the food, because I know the food is also a big part of the festival.
So, I'm biased, of course. It's one of my favorites, if not the best, I think, cultural festival foods in Western New York. Obviously, you'd have to come and check me on that. But in terms of a lot of the Middle Eastern or Levantian dishes that people are familiar with, Egypt has a specific flavor profile in terms of those different dishes. Falafel, for example, many of the other countries use chickpeas. We use fava beans, so it has a different flavor profile. Similarly, as well, in terms of desserts such as baklava, we don't use rose water. So what that ends up doing is you get more of a nutty, sweet flavor in terms of a lot of the dishes and desserts that we have.
So similarities, but differences too.
Definitely,
that people can learn about. What's your favorite part about putting this festival on?
That's a great question. My favorite part of this festival is truly sharing with the community. What you'll find with our festival specifically compared to some other ones is that given its size, when you come and attend, you feel like family. And that's something that we truly try to cherish and share, in that we want you to come in, we want you to feel welcome, we want to share with you and treat each and every person like, hey, this is my favorite dish, this is why I'm here, this is why we're putting it on. And a lot of people may not realize, in terms of our feast for St. Mary is August 22nd. So we hold this festival in honor of her, to respect her and revere her and to serve her, again, as she for her reverence.
What do you hope people take away with them, especially if this is like their first exposure to your culture?
Yeah, so in terms of visiting, number one, definitely the food in terms of different flavors and different traditions. But beyond that, someone may hear the word Coptic or Coptic Orthodox and not understand.
Right, and not even know what that
exactly
means. Yeah.
Yeah, so coming and then experiencing that and learning more and coming away from it learning something. Even if it's you like this dish and not like this dish, or going in and seeing the icons and saying, hey, okay, now I understand why they have icons in the church.
And a good entryway, I feel like, to learn about any culture is through food.
Yes, yes.
Because everybody gets food, and you find something you love, and then you're in the door.
Exactly. Eat your way around the world. That's what I say.
If somebody wants to go, tell me the hours, where you guys are located, and what they need to know.
Yeah, so we're in North Tonawanda off the corner of Payne and Wheatfield. I always say if you want to come out for the weekend on a Saturday, go to the farmer's market up there, and we're only about a 2-minute walk from there.
Easy.
Friday we start at 3, Saturday at 11, and Sunday at 12. this weekend in North Tonawanda.
Is there any cost to get in?
No, free admission. Please come on by, even if you just want to say hello and walk around. But I think when you smell the flavors and you see the different things around there, you won't be leaving pretty soon.
And then if somebody's going, what's the best strategy to find parking?
Yes, that is definitely in terms of, again, with people in the city market, it's street parking there, so try to get in there early and don't be afraid to take a nice little stroll in the sun.
All right, get your steps in.
Yeah.
And that's Thomas Gattle-Rapp, spokesperson for St. Mary and St. Moses Church. Thank you so much for sharing
Thank you again
your
for
time
having
with
us
this afternoon.